Welcome to Realty Real Talk. I'm Ashley Borney. What's my co-host?
I'm Tyler Lunger. Today we have Ben and Zach Kunz. So welcome to the show. Appreciate you guys coming on. So
yeah, thanks for having us.
Brothers, first question. How far apart are you in age?
2 years apart.
2 years.
He's obviously the older brother.
I'm a lot more responsible.
Sure.
You guys could pass for twins, so I just needed to clarify for everybody out there.
So you're both obviously involved in real estate, kind of a little bit of the same aspect, but not quite the same aspect. Give us a little background of how you kind of got into it. I'm sure there's a little bit of influence from bigger brother.
I'm an architect,
Okay.
licensed in the state, and but really always focused on the entrepreneurial side of architecture. Realized in grad school, really interested in kind of the crossover between architecture and development, kind of what I call phase zero, which is kind of where you're in that space of here's a possible site. Is it a good one? What do we do there? How does it make money? What does it look like? So that's really where I like to occupy my time the most. And with any job, you never get to do the thing you like the most all the time. But,
Right.
that's working as a developer, hiring other architects. I really get to occupy that space majority of the time. So it's really kind of a great thing.
Cool.
How long have you been an architect?
I've been an architect for 3 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is there like an internship program that you need to get into?
That took another 3 years.
So how long is it? So you go for college and then you have to do an internship like required?
So you need a professional degree, which typically is a master's degree. So that was 6 years plus another 3 years of internships
Ooh.
and 6 exams. And, yeah,
That's a lot of school, but
cool. Big hurdle.
yeah.
Awesome.
Pretty.
So then obviously
dry.
there was some sort of influence on Zach to become real estate agent.
Yeah, a little bit, I guess. I think the biggest influence that Ben had probably was I think you were the one that introduced me to the Bigger Pockets podcast way back when in college. But I first kind of got interested in it just early on. Our parents had rentals growing up, so was kind of always around it in some ways. And even though I was young enough that I didn't really know any better, didn't know what was happening, didn't know at the time that's kind of helped our family be the way that we were. But
Sure. Form you.
just being with dad and helping with small projects here and there around, and just going to other houses and kind of having fun was I think initial spark. And then introduction to the Bigger Pockets podcast. I learned a lot more about real estate, how it can help people. And that's the part where, I really started to learn. I was like, okay, there's something to this. And then shortly after graduating from college, decided, this is the route I want to go, and, continue to help educate people and let them know, that real estate is a way that you can help increase your wealth and your future. And, I think just helping people do that is really my passion, I think. So.
Yeah, that's
A
awesome.
lot of lawnmowers.
Yeah.
Yep. Got to start somewhere.
Somewhere rentals.
Yeah. So you mentioned small projects with your dad, but you two now have a rather large project going on. Kind of give us a story on that.
Yeah, been working on that one for, the initial idea back in 2020 probably.
Sure.
So we're in year 5 now, and we're
Okay.
just finished the project up in terms of construction, is current status. But really the idea came from some experiences in places like Portland, Oregon. You get this hub of kind of like-minded, small but mighty food businesses together. They may not have a wide menu.
Sure.
Might be a limited menu, but they're really good at what they do. And you don't need a huge footprint. These are micro restaurants, and I'll get into the big picture, I guess, but this is really the basis of the idea. Is just a micro restaurant, but a collective of them. So you have some critical mass.
Sure.
Really creates this, the geeky term is placemaking, but it's just a vibrant hub of activity, neighborhood hangout, potentially destination for people beyond the neighborhood. So that was the kind of spark, right? Yeah, and then it turns out there's this site. It seems like a great spot to put it. It's zoned right, and it's turns out it's going to be really 2 projects in one. So the first project, which I've kind of alluded to already, is the micro restaurants. So on the ground floor, there's 6 micro retail spaces intended for restaurants. Not necessarily all of them have to be restaurants, and then there's a second project on the upper levels, which is net zero ready, even in some cases, passive house level apartment units. Sure.
Okay.
In a commercial context, especially in this area, in this region, that's not really been done. But those all turned out really great. We finished that up in January. We've got CO, and so we're leasing up those apartments, super energy efficient. We were in there on a punch walk in the middle of January, and one of the south facing units was so warm just from the sun.
Oh, wow.
Basically no heat loss, but some solar heat gain. We turned the air conditioner on.
That's funny.
Middle of January ever.
Where are these located for everybody?
Yeah, so this is located at 23rd and R Street. The address is 345 North 23rd Street here in Lincoln, Nebraska. And then that first project, the micro restaurants, I think is the kind of key focus that we're thinking about right now. We're trying to get kind of a core set of businesses in there that want to, whether they're new or emerging, small food businesses. We've got the first tenant outlined. It's Golden Goat Pizza.
Oh,
Right.
nice.
Brand new, or are they coming
Are they
from
new to our
somewhere?
area? Or
He's got a food truck. He's been around town for a while. He's got a really strong virtual brand. Really cool pizza, really cool brand. He'll be the first tenant in, and super excited to see how that proceeds.
That's awesome.
So
And really, that's kind of the target market. It seems like so far has been a lot of people that have food trucks or something of that nature already. Those people that are trying to get into a brick and mortar place, but at maybe a lower cost and easier threshold,
Sure.
to get into that space versus, in a traditional restaurant, you've got a lot bigger footprint, a lot bigger build out, and just more to maintain.
Sure.
This is kind of that next step for those food trucks or entrepreneurs to have a central hub for themselves. I think there's even a couple that we've talked to that are like looking at it as a place to, maybe they're doing catering or something like that. They have to go use somebody else's kitchen really early in the morning, and then now they're able to have their own hub that they can do that in their own space, take it out in the food truck or what have you, but then also have a second location that people know they're here, they can throw in there, and be that regular.
Sure.
And what you talked about earlier with kind of being that central hub, the neighborhood loves it. The people want to be there. Also a destination that, like, if somebody's new to Lincoln and visiting, if they find this place, want it to be a place that they're going to come back to every time they're in Lincoln.
Right.
So walk me through what consists of a micro restaurant. Like, is it the size that calls it that, and they don't have like an eating inside, facility, or it's a courtyard? Is that kind of what I've heard?
So for us, micro restaurant, it means a lot more than the size of the restaurant. And it goes back to that phase 0 I was talking about. So from the very beginning, this has been, designed from a space perspective and underwritten from a financial perspective to include really a ecosystem within the project designed entirely for new and emerging businesses. So I think the number one thing to think about is that, they're micro spaces. They've got pros and cons. Your capacity is not going to be what it would be in one of those large traditional restaurant spaces. If that's what you're looking for, this isn't the product for you.
Sure.
Micro means your build out cost is less. It means your monthly rent is less. You're probably paying more per square foot. So it's in that perspective, I really think it's a win-win as the building owner, but also as the new business. Financially, we are able to provide significantly more landlord build-out contributions. These are virgin spaces. They need built-out still, meaning you can customize your layout, right?
Right. Somebody can come in and if they need a pizza oven, put in a pizza oven, or if they need grease fryers or whatever it might be.
Yep. Compared to traditional spaces, we're providing a lot more from the landlord in terms of capital to build that space out. Really designed for startups that, maybe don't have the resources that more established businesses do. It's smaller. I mentioned that. And then there's this collective piece. So one micro restaurant in the middle of nowhere may not be as successful as 6 of them grouped together. There's a critical mass. They all have focused menus. You're coming with coworkers for lunch. Nobody can agree on what they want, but here everyone can get whatever they want.
Yeah.
There's 6 great options. There's some shared spaces that reduce build-out costs in addition to being small. So there's shared outdoor seating along one of the streets. This area has really wide spaces between the street and the sidewalk. And so we were able to partner with the city of Lincoln to leverage that space for the businesses. So that means they don't necessarily need to seat a ton of customers in their space. Really, the spaces are turning out to be kind of fast, casual, grab and go type spaces. People are going to be able to enjoy seasonally outdoor seating. And that's where I think a lot of the vibrancy is going to come from. Great space to hang out outside, key component. And then, a few other shared amenities. We have some shared restrooms. You don't have to put a restroom in your build out. We have a shared mop sink. So, I think a handful of folks are planning to put a mop sink in their own space, but you could use the building mop sink. So just things like that are kind of shared in that perspective. But
yeah. So you mentioned kind of a collaboration a little bit earlier, kind of an anchor, maybe looking for an anchor business or restaurant there. Kind of explain the process of that, the thought process of how that kind of works.
I think it would benefit all the businesses in the space there. All 6 businesses would benefit from the traffic that, a partner that is providing coffee sales and or alcohol sales would drive. In terms of a place to hang out, having that, having that amenity in terms of what people could access just encourages people to loiter in a good way.
Yeah, sure.
And I, patronize the other surrounding businesses. I think there's really a synergistic element to these micro spaces.
Yeah, getting one in there that kind of brings everybody else together as well.
Are you
especially in that neighborhood? There's a lot of college students that live there. There's a lot of others too, but the college students would definitely hit up a coffee place.
Yeah,
a lot.
Oh yeah.
And then maybe at night the alcohol sales.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's not going to be a true bar. It's not going to be a rowdy thing or anything. It's a neighborhood space, right? We had a neighborhood meeting before we broke ground, and I think most of those folks were not college students, and they also were asking for, like, very excited to support neighborhood businesses and specifically asking for a coffee shop. So I think that's a priority for us to get in.
Sure.
If anybody out there
owns a coffee shop, wants to do a little expanding.
Well, yeah, I was thinking as you're going through that, are you really trying to truly target like the beginner businesses and not the big name companies that already have plenty of different locations?
Right. Yeah, and the big name companies typically have their formula, and usually a business model that revolves around volume and a larger space than this. I really think you could get some decent volume out of these spaces, but it's not the volume that a full Ruby Tuesdays is going to get.
Right. Sure. Yeah, you mentioned kind of the collaboration with the neighborhood. Kind of walk us through that process. You mentioned City of Lincoln as well. What did that kind of look like?
Yeah, the development process can be long and drawn out. Depends on the project, depends on the city. I think we're pretty fortunate here in Nebraska. We don't have the kind of time frames that places like California have. Every project is complicated, and every project can have a different timeline. This one in particular, once the ground was secured, there was a process of kind of vetting this concept and making sure people would actually be interested. And so there's kind of this underwriting process is kind of the key term. But you've got a financial model. Now you need to go out and kind of qualitatively underwrite it. Are you actually going to get the rents you put in the model? Is it actually going to be able to pay the mortgage? Are you actually going to be able to return some revenue to the investors? So those are kind of the key questions. You're running sensitivity analysis just to see, like, if this happened, would we still be okay? Things like that. So
Sure.
COVID hit in the pre-development with, so that delayed a few things, I think. And I think we timed the construction period really well in terms of, prices and lumber and all the construction inputs. But yeah, I mean, it was really zoned pretty close to what we needed. We made a few administrative amendments to a PUD. If you're familiar with what that is, there's a zoning overlay. Really makes things more flexible. We had a neighborhood meeting. We got, the support of the neighbors. And we went out and got construction documents from an architect. We got bids. We got a contract and started building.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You mentioned, sorry.
No, you go.
You mentioned investors. So, how many investors are in something like this project?
There are 5 partner entities in
Okay.
this project. It really depends on the project and how much you need to raise.
Mhm.
5 is a relatively small group. We have been involved in bigger projects that have more like 10,
Mhm.
It just depends.
So Zach's obviously helping you out with this, listing these properties to get them leased out. What are you kind of seeing? Like, what's the market looking like for that kind of stuff? Has it been active? Has it been slow? Or
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's a pretty steady trickle, but it's not tons of people reaching out every day, but
sure,
there's definitely a lot of interest in it. People see a restaurant space, but not the prices that they have to pay for
a full blown restaurant.
a full blown restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the commitment. I think typical traditional spaces, you're lucky to get down to a 3-year term, and really you're looking at 5 to 10.
10 or more sometimes.
You're looking at triple net rents, which can be deceiving, especially if you're not familiar with them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Essentially,
You add on an extra $2 or $3 a square foot, it adds up.
Yeah, or more.
Right.
And what we're offering is, like I had mentioned before, the large landlord contribution, but also down to 2-year terms and modified gross leases that pretty much include everything.
Sure.
So it's not complicated. We've tried to simplify it so
Yeah.
you can focus on what's important and not on some building.
Right. Not the back end side of things.
We're good at buildings. They're good at food. Let's keep it that way.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So-
What's as we wrap up, what's the projection date for the first tenant that's in there? What's their opening?
It's hard to say. I don't want to.
Okay.
Don't want to
They probably need to announce that too.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully maybe.
I think everybody's excited to get it going. So.
Pushing.
as soon as possible.
Yep.
Right?
Awesome. So if someone is interested in leasing the space, they're going to get a hold of Zach. Zach, how do you prefer they contact you?
Phone or email is probably the best way. So phone number is 402-875-1059. Otherwise, email is just zachkunz.re@gmail.com. So
Awesome. Well,
Thanks for joining
guys.
us today.
This is awesome.
Thanks.
It's exciting to bring something like this to Lincoln and have some more options. So that's great.
super excited. Looking forward to
All right.
Looking forward to eating there.
Yeah.
There we go.
Get some pizza.
There we go.
Well, thank you.
That's what happened.